everyone. So we're going to be looking at the best practices in performance, and we just chose 3 that I consider in my experience to be very, very salient. You know, that I want, if you can apply, you're guaranteed to achieve your performance goal as long as you commit to doing at least these 3. And the first will be, you have to measure what truly matters. You can measure everything, but there are certain things that are very important, lead to your strategy. So you have to avoid the nice to hard. So effective performance metrics must be aligned to your strategic goals. They shouldn't be things that you read on Twitter or you read on LinkedIn. In fact, in groups where people will come in and say, please suggest KPIs for me. And I wonder, how would somebody suggest KPIs for you? Because they're not in your organization. They do not understand your strategy. They do not even understand how your department is positioned in that organization. So your KPIs, your goals, your objectives must be directly linked to the strategy of the organization. So you establish a hierarchy. So there is a strategy for the organization, and then we have functional or departmental goals, and we have individual goals, and everything must have line of sight. So the individual knows what they contribute to the department, and the department knows what they are contributing to the achievement of the strategy. Mind you, not all processes will have key contributions to the strategy, but just like a car has different functions. And for instance, I ask people, now that they've told us speed limit on 3rd Mainland Bridge is 80 kilometers per hour. When you are driving on the 3rd Mainland Bridge, your eyes are not going to be on your red. Your eyes are going to be on the speedometer, because as long as you come on at Oniru, that is if, you come on at Osborne and you climb onto the 3rd Mainland Bridge. For those of us who are not in Nigeria, it's one of the longest bridges in Nigeria, you know. Once you get onto that bridge, your eyes are not going to be focused on, oh, it's my temperature. It is going to be solely on your speedometer. That, at that time, it is key. Now, another day, if you are not on 3rd Mainland Bridge and you are running low on gas, your eyes are not going to be on your speedometer. Your eyes are going to be on your gas level, what we call here petrol. So that's how you identify what is the key objectives for your department to contribute to the achievement of the overarching or overall goals of the organization. So goals at each organizational level support the goals directly relevant to the next level. You need to identify that. That doesn't stop, like when you're keeping your eyes on the speedometer on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Once in a while, see if your temperature gauge is functioning properly, if there is traffic, if there's some problem, everything. And focus more on what is in time. Assuming you have issues also maybe with your radiator, then you're going to also keep your eyes on temperature, or the temperature is fluctuating. You keep your eyes on it. And once you do that, you are not able to identify what we call key performance indicators. They are key. Some people say OKRs, KRAs, as far as it's key. When you want to open a door, only one key opens the door. And so for that objective, you must find performance indicators or metrics that are key, that are very, very critical, that without you, measuring those performance, you cannot achieve that goal. You will not be able to achieve that goal. So you focus on those KPIs that are key, but whatever it is, once they are the departmental contribution to the organizational contribution. And like I said, very nice to have. I was told, oh, it happened in North-South Energy Company. Oh, they have this KPI, so we are going to adopt. No. It's a no. It's a failure. You identify a key circumstance and you plug into it. And in doing
I cannot hear you anymore, Adepeju.
Doing this, engage employees in goal setting. Because if it's key for you and it's not, they will not put it on the front. It makes what is key to them, key to you, mention HR at all. Because performance management, though domicile with HR, though HR has oversight, it's an organizational function because it's about measuring performance. Please settle that at the back of your mind. It's about measuring performance. So that is it. So by showing how the work performed across the organization fits together, it is likely that everyone will be working in alignment to support the organization's strategic direction. That is why people have a line of how what they are doing contributes to the success of the company achieving their goals. The next one that we're going to look at is strategy culture alignment. According to Hofstede, now Hofstede says organizational culture is a set of values, beliefs, and behaviors that guide how employees interact with each other, the customers, and the external environment. Fine. So your culture must be aligned with your strategy because then it will act as a powerful enabler that drives engagement and ensures that you achieve the goals that you have planned to achieve at the beginning of the year. Because without that, strategy achievement, goal achievement may be very, very dicey. Let's take, for example, so your organization, according to Hofstede, has high power distance culture, where those who are top of the hierarchy, they are very, very, they have the kind of a position that they do not allow a lot of feedback from those who work with them. They don't actually believe that those who are loyal cadre know as much so as to contribute to strategy. And then you heard that, in a certain place, they have said open communication is very important, innovative ideas, allow people to challenge what the organization is doing. Because those people have been used not to talking, it's going to be difficult for them. Normal environment is that it is the bosses who know what is right. We just report to them. We do what they tell us to do because they are more experienced. They spend years there. That strategy is not going to be achieved because the environment, the culture won't support it. Uncertainty avoidance, they are very, very low on risk taking, very, very low. It's like what we are used to, let's just keep it, let's just, not incremental changes or not anything, like a big bang. And then you say, this year, we're going to go into new markets, we're going to do groundbreaking products. In fact, we want to push for innovation. The people in the organization have been used to stability and predictability. So once you now want to push them into that environment where they now begin to innovate, they're trying to go out of what is ordinary to them, it may not work. And I'm using may because I want to be very, very economical with my words, not to say it will not work, because your culture doesn't permit them to think, as people say, outside the box. Your culture does not allow them to take risk. So even when you're trying to say, we're going to train you, because they have been, remember, culture is the way that we relate to the place where we work. Their mind just shuts down because that is how the environment has made it to work for them. So it's going to be difficult. If you're going to move in that way in your strategy, then there has to be some form of unlearning and relearning and some form of upskilling, Let us also say maybe in an individualistic culture where employees are motivated by personal achievements and recognition, it's all about the individual. Then you're not talking about teamwork. Let's work, let's achieve our goals as a team. It's going to be a team approach. And the people are going to say no. In their mind, they may not say it verbally, but in their mind, it's like, no, that's not how we've always worked. It always been about by me, myself, my goals, my KPIs, my achievement, my clients. It's mine. And so that culture is not going to support team efforts because from the onset, it's about being individualistic and delivering on your goals as an individual. So you can see that culture, like they say, it's strategy for breakfast. And some people say even for lunch and for dinner, and even when you have in between, you understand. So that's the third one. Now, the The third one, and it's also very crucial, is the role of coaching in performance management. The other day, I wrote on LinkedIn, and I said, what is much important than why in performance feedback? Because in coaching, why has a way of making people feel as if it's over, it's final. I can't do anything about it. It's all about looking for the reason rather than looking in performance management feedback. It will transform the feedback sessions into coaching opportunities where people don't just look at what happened, but they're asking what next? What can I do better? What happened? Because what creates an opportunity for exploring? Why is judgmental? Why shuts down the brain from thinking about what next? But what opens you up? So when leaders include coaching, which has to do with, using coaching tools like thought-provoking questions, reflective questions, active listening, assuring the coachee that they are resourceful, they are whole, and they can come up with the solutions to the challenges they are faced. And remember that the person that is giving you feedback is the process owner. He is the person who is handling the process. So you are not the process owner. You may have at the time, but now you are the leader. You are the head of the department. You are the team lead. You are not on the shop floor. You are not on the. You can just, provide information from when you were there. It is better that you enable them, because once they can acquire the coaching skills themselves that you've used with them, when things happen, they don't have to wait till when you have a feedback with them. They can easily apply it. So what happened here? What can I do better? So that by the time they come to the next feedback session with you, they are coming with, oh, yes, this happened, but this is what I did, because they have learned how to look ahead to say, what next can I do, rather than why did this happen? So, and this feedback should be frequent and informal. Everybody everywhere says, don't wait, like everybody's rushing around now. People are, oh, please send me a performance management form. Oh, send me this. And I'm like, you shouldn't wait to the end of the year. You need to consistently look at your goals. There are some that have a time frame of a month, 2 weeks, quarterly. So that ongoing conversation enables you to take remedial steps that you don't have to wait till on the end of the year before. Even the 6 months is too long. Everybody, it's important that these ongoing check-ins are informal and frequent. And coaching helps it to work fantastically, because you're not querying anyone. You're just helping them to see, what they can do better to move the dial forward or backward, depending on what the target is, because there are some targets that are about increasing numbers, some about decreasing, some about maintaining a ratio. And then what this does is that people become more engaged. The employee, the team member, the direct report becomes more engaged. They are more motivated. And this coaching encourages continuous improvement, because they're not waiting till the end of the year to make changes. You are embracing that continuous, improvement of feedback into the entire organization. So basically what we have said today is that, number one, check if your current strategies inspire growth, because they are aligned with the goals of the organization and they provide actionable feedback that is actionable. Focus on metrics that align with the strategic objectives, and let it integrate team level success or department level success. And yes, the same quantitative and qualitative, but as far as, we just ensure that your KPIs, your OKRs are outcomes, they are transformational. You can show that something is happening, either in terms of risk taking, in terms of exposure to risk, you reduce it, in terms of growth in clients, you grow it. So you can sense it. In fact, some people say that your KPIs must be able to be detected by the 5 senses. You must see, you can either see, hear, touch, feel, taste in terms of cooking. Build a synergy between culture and strategy. Let there be a marriage between the two, and transform your feedback sessions into opportunities for growth. Incorporate coaching techniques like active listening, forward-focused conversations, powerful questioning, and listening. Active listening. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Adepeju. Sometimes it was not easy to hear your voice, but I think we got the gist of your presentation. I really loved the idea that you only need to use KPIs who have a key to open the door. I thought that was well put. And I think we all know the slogan that culture eats strategy for breakfast, but if it's also eating our lunch and dinner, we definitely cannot ignore culture. And I was a little bit surprised, I must say, that you said, what is more important than why? I understand it in feedback, but sometimes we also want to do why we are doing things, because that also gives us some motivation. So maybe we can talk in the Q&A a little bit more about that. But let's listen to Wale and see, Wale, how your long career in the electricity supply industry in Nigeria have learned you some lessons about performance. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Annette. Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Let me first commend Adepeju for a well-delivered presentation. It was educative, it was concise, and it was impactful. Today, I'm honored to share my reflections on this vital topic. At BSN, we emphasize the 4 pillars of leadership. That is responsible leadership, change leadership, decision-making leadership, and performance leadership. So as I reflect on Adepeju's presentation, I'm going to focus on how responsible leadership plays a crucial role in effective performance management, and then share my own experience in my sector and what that journey has been. So the audio quality was not very clear, so I'll do my best to summarize some of our points in my reflection. So the topic is performance management best practices. Performance management is often perceived as merely a tool for assessing employee productivity. But Adepeju's presentation has captured that topic to encompass much more. It involves setting clear expectations, providing ongoing feedback, promoting development, and ultimately aligning individual goals with organizational objectives. So best practices in performance management are centered on those 3 tenets: communication, collaboration, and accountability. One of the fundamental aspects of effective performance management is the alignment of metrics with strategic goals. Now, it is very important that organizations establish a hierarchy of goals, which was the point that Adepeju also made, where objectives at each level support those of the next. This is on all fours with the notoriously famous balanced scorecard theory advanced by Professor Robert Kaplan, and it is important to link performance metrics to strategic vision. And this is the gist of Adepeju's presentation. But you see, at the heart of these practices lies responsible leadership. By responsible leadership, I mean being accountable not only for business outcomes, but also for the well-being and the development of your team members. A responsible leader understands that performance is influenced by various factors, and that includes motivation, morale, and work-life balance. The value that your employees as individuals bring when you recognize that a supportive environment promotes growth. One of the best practices also mentioned in the presentation is that it is imperative to establish clear, measurable goals and clear, measurable goals. And as Adepeju put it, not nice to have KPIs. However, responsible leaders go beyond mere numbers. They engage their teams to ensure that these goals resonate with the personal aspirations of the employees. They also promote ownership and motivation. So it just doesn't stop there. When employees, when they see how their contributions impact the organization, they are more likely to commit wholeheartedly to achieving those objectives. Additionally, ongoing feedback is also crucial. And this isn't just about conducting annual reviews. It's about creating a culture of regular check-ins and open dialogue. Responsible leaders would encourage honest communication and also allow employees to voice their concerns or even share their ideas. Now, the presentation delved into the role of mentorship, and this stands out as the best practice in performance management. Responsible leaders usually will actively invest in their team's growth. They'll provide training programs and resources that don't just tick a box in HR's annual plan, but are tailored to meet the employee's career aspirations. So when you empower your individuals to develop their skills, you also enhance team performance and demonstrate a commitment to the employee's future. So another essential aspect of responsible leadership, in my experience, is adaptability. And this is the one that comes to the fore in my daily life. You see, the business landscape is constantly changing, and resilience is key. Responsible leaders now embrace flexibility, and you now have to adjust performance expectations when the circumstances demand it. We understand that the journey to success is not linear, and we encourage our teams to adapt and grow through challenges. So this has been the modern day approach to performance management. You have to also realize that there's a moral side to this. By this, I mean that a responsible leader is an exemplary role model. You have to embody the values and the behaviors that you expect from your team. By demonstrating integrity, transparency, you inspire others to follow, and you create a high-performing culture. In conclusion, when you approach performance management truthfully and responsibly, it should, or I guess say, must transform the workplace into a thriving environment. If you implement best practices, and like Adepeju pointed out, if you set clear goals, if you align metrics with strategic goals, if you ensure ongoing feedback, cultural alignment, you invest in development, recognize achievements, and embrace adaptability, you will promote an atmosphere where employees are well motivated and engaged. So these elements, they not only shape how effective an organization is, but they also contribute significantly to sustainable development. And this applies to leadership in both private and public sector frameworks. I'm in the private sector.
And well, I'm going
Yes.
to stop you here. We can come back what it means for you in the private sector, because it's time for Q&A.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good supplementary speech from you, in addition to what we've learned from Adepeju, because you went beyond the KPIs and you didn't want just to tick a box. Resilience, flexibility, and values, I think, is what you really hammered down to us, that is important to have a thriving organization. Let's go and see what questions people have. There are quite a few of them. And maybe, Wale, you can, what you did not yet tell us, weave into the answers of the questions. I see a question from Siaforo Kishimbo. How do you effectively manage employees who are primarily extrinsically motivated? And how do you ensure they continue to add value to the organization while maintaining engagement and performance? Adepeju, can you shed some light? How do you motivate primarily extrinsically motivated people?
Okay, thank you, Annette. Now, as a management specialist, take the point of policies will always enable what the issues are.
Adepeju, we cannot hear you very well.
Hello?
Can you?
I'm
Yes.
unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you try?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you try again?
Right. Yeah, can you hear now? Can you hear me?
Yes, but not so good. Please try again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, this is better. This is better. Speak up.
Okay. All right. To answer this question, it's always good to have background information. I'd like to ask why employees are extremely motivated. There must be a reason. Number two,
Adepeju, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because I cannot hear anything, and I think that is also for other people the same. Let's come back to you a little bit later. Wale, what is your view on this? How do you see what is best to do with primarily extrinsically motivated people?
Thank you, Annette. So ultimately, everybody comes to a workplace for similar goals. And it is not essentially to promote the company, but it's from a selfish point of view to promote themselves. So it is a quid pro quo approach, actually, where you rub my back, I rub your back. The company provides for the employees and vice versa. So it starts with the company policies. What are those benefits that you have that motivates performances? What is your leave like? What's your work-life balance like? What do you give adequate motivation to your employees? So all that goes into how the employee reciprocates to the organization. And it all starts with the policies at the company level. Once you have all that set, it is easier to promote or at least to encourage performance management on the side of the employee.
Yeah, thank you. And from the chat, I see that people liked your answer. I think someone said it has something to do with who you recruit. And that obviously, if you only recruit what's in it for me, then that is a problem in your organization. Adepeju, I'm going to ask another question. Maybe you can see if we can hear you better this time. The question is from Ijoma Animam. Sorry if I pronounce it not correctly. How do we handle staff and subordinates who always argue while coaching them? In this argument, they give reasons for all their shortfalls, and this makes everyone feel that they are always right and not willing to assist them anymore. So what do you do with your staff who argue when you are coaching them?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
So I'm going to put off my camera so that it would help with the bandwidth. Does that work?
Yeah, we hear you well now. Please go ahead.
Okay, so now that's a reason for feedback. This is also a performance issue. So if somebody comes to the feedback session and they're always arguing, then it needs to be reflected back to them that it's actually a performance issue, that you're being given feedback, but yet you do not want to listen. And if this continues, stricter disciplinary measures would have to be put in place. Because if they're not willing to listen to you, then how are they going to improve? How are they going to improve on the process? So you don't allow it to go. If it's happened once, we talk about it. The second time, you follow it up with an official memo to say, look, there seems to be a problem here. I'm the team lead. Then we will actually now on the second round have to bring in HR, which is where I said HR is like an arbiter. So HR also comes into the process and says, look, okay, let me sit in the session. Then if the person still does that, then you have two people who have witnessed that kind of behavior, particularly here in Nigeria, where the industrial court actually has a lot of puts in a lot of relief for employees. Please, business owners, document performance issues. Even if they are verbal discussions, when you are done, send them over to, oh, this is a follow-up to our discussions. Kindly let me know the things you agreed to do, or these are the things we agreed for you to do next time, so that you have something to work with. So you can't continue to allow that to happen. But always bring HR in. That would help tremendously.
Thank you, Adepeju. That is good advice. Bruno Ebinem, who is going to present next week, says performance management focuses more on punitive consequences in our climate rather than focus on more reward. So we are not so positively engaging employees. We say, if you don't do this, then it's not going to be good for you. Wale, do you recognize that in your own company?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Traditionally, HR seems to lean towards punitive standards rather than rewards. And it's because it's better to be feared than to be loved. And that's been a general experience. But you see, also, ultimately, there has to be a balance between just punishment and rewards. And it's at that equilibrium that you achieve the best. And that goes back to my initial comment that there must be well-defined policies that the framework that guides how employees will be treated from day one. And also helps if they also have that information beforehand. They know when the evaluation is going to come up. They know when promotions are due. You know, nothing is in the dark. So that helps a lot. And also, addressing the last question before this one, I was going to say that it helps when you have standard operating procedures in place. So that reduces the confusion that comes from operational standards. Everybody knows how the work is to be done. Everybody knows what to expect. Transparency, transparency, transparency.
Great answer. I see a lot of people are still struggling about what and why. We have just 1 minute, Adepeju. Do you think you can shed some light on how to relate what and why?
Okay, so my network has been fluctuating. So if somebody asks me, why was the network fluctuating? That makes me defensive. But if somebody say, oh, what happened? Then I'm willing to explain. So, oh, the first network I used was a bit fluctuated. I've changed my network, and I'm thinking of shutting down my camera. So what makes me feel more positive about the questioning? Why makes me defensive? Now, there's the decision-making tool of asking why, 5 whys. That's also good. You are trying to find out what actually happened. But in terms of performance, what makes the person think, what exactly happened? Then I cannot go to why. But what is to say, there must be a reason for this. And it has nothing to do, I'm not judging you. I'm saying, let's look at the process. And I'd like to now put this to the issue of performance management being punitive. When something is not properly known, abuse is inevitable, which was why I decided to go for my certification, and I'm even going for more. And I'm studying a lot, because from when I got involved with Balanced Scorecard in 2005 till date, I realized that people don't like that performance is focused on their person. And in my own theory concerning performance, it's the process that we are actually measuring, not you. You are just a process owner. So if I take the focus off you and I make you focus on the process, that you're managing the process, it seems to make people feel less put on a pedestal. And when people are, either praising them or relegating them or making them feel as if they're not performing. So by the time I focus on process and say, okay, how did you handle the process? It makes them feel better than say, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just perform?
Thank you. And that is all for this morning. Next week, we have our number 61 of Good Morning BSN. And like I mentioned, Bruno Ebinum is going to give a presentation on the importance of employee commitment to improve organizational performance. So from the process focus, we go to the employee next time. Thank you, Adepeju, and thank you, Wale, and have a good day, all.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Please wait, Peju Wale. Please go down. While others exit.
Okay, there's still a few people, but I'm curious what you thought of this morning. What do you think, Adepeju? What did you think of the conversation?
Well, performance is very personal because a lot of people have been burnt by it. So when I'm used to it, when you talk about performance, this is my third presentation on performance in the last 1 month. And I see a lot of energy coming up because it's all about the person. And people have a lot of stories that touch the heart. And so that's why I've made it my own business pool to work on performance, because once people get it right, just like you as an individual, if you're not doing very well, you don't start hitting yourself on the head to say, you're not doing well, you're not doing well. You ask yourself, what can I do to improve? And so that's how we should translate it to the place of work, rather than castigating people, and if it's something that has to do with the person's behavior, then we'll deal with the behavior and then leave and then work, and that would help the performance. So I expected that much questions coming up and feedback.
And how about you, Wale?
Well, I agree. I agree totally. Early on in my career, I was in an organization where I didn't get a promotion for 5 years. And then I watched people around me get the same promotion doing less. It was mind-boggling. As a matter of fact, there was a particular woman who went on maternity leave 3 times during those 5 years. And the way the organization was structured,
I think we lost Wale.
Yes, he's freezing.
or less, she still got more promotions than I did. So this has been an ongoing problem. It's been an ongoing issue, but there's been the emerging trend now reflects a shift towards recognizing that performance management is key to better performance and better efficiency. And when it's effective, it promotes innovative thinking, and the cultural transformation improves, employee morale. It's just better. So the awareness is out there now, and it's good.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I think we all have had an experience that we saw other people being promoted, and we would not understand that from a performance point of view. That's life when you are making your career. Isn't it so? Yeah, we talked about the role of HR, who maybe is best placed to play a sort of intermediate role to prevent these sort of things.
Yeah, I agree.
We had today more than 80 people, so that means, Wale, you did a big job, because normally we have 70 people to add another 10. May I thank both of you for showing this commitment. We love Good Morning BSN because it gives us the chance to share our own experiences, which is different from what we do when we are in an MBA at BSN, because therefore then we have to really make sure we get our score and get graduated. So thanks again.